Have you ever heard landlord advice that's so bad you wonder how it's even legal? The truth is, following these outdated tips can actually result in lawsuits, months of stress, and literally tens of thousands of dollars in losses. And I've personally seen it happen. So in this video, I'm going to show you 6 harmful landlord myths to immediately avoid. It's easy to grasp, safe to implement, and completely up-to-date guidance you have not heard elsewhere. And yes, number 5 sounds like it's made up, but I promise these are all real examples of awful advice. So how much can a landlord collect for security deposit in California? Bad advice number 1.
I always collect first and last month's rent plus security deposit.
No, we can't do that. Security deposits are limited in California right now. California law AB 12 says that most landlords can only collect 1 month's rent for a security deposit. If you're an exempt landlord, which there are some, and I've covered it in other videos, they can collect up to 2 months rent for security deposit, but gone are those days of 3 months rent for security deposit for furnished units. That is off the books. As far as collecting last month's rent, California has specific laws related to collecting advance rent. The law specifically says that a landlord can collect no less than 6 months rent for a fixed term lease that's 6 months or longer. So in other words, if a renter is going to be signing a year lease, a landlord has to collect 6 months or more in advanced rent. So there are many ways that this is wrong for a landlord to collect first and last month's rent plus a security deposit. Can a landlord exclude certain types of renter?
I only want to rent to a young professional couple, or make sure you don't rent it to insert racist comment here.
Of course, this is bad advice because these are fair housing violations. A landlord cannot just go ahead and rent only to a young professional couple. That would be discrimination based on age and family type. And you can't exclude renters under any of the protected categories. A short list would be based on family status, race, sex, things like that. Landlords can't discriminate and go ahead and only rent to certain types of folks. Also be aware that in 2025 there were new laws related to screening renters, and we've released other videos on that. Bad advice number 3.
I don't take Section 8 renters.
That would be breaking the law in California. California law does not allow a landlord to discriminate based on the source of income, and that includes voucher programs like Section 8. There are several voucher program types. In fact, some attorneys have teamed up with Section 8 renters and are having the renters call landlords to ask if they will accept Section 8. If the landlord says no, guess what shows up in the mail a few days later? A lawsuit requesting tens of thousands of dollars from the landlord. I got this story from an accidental landlord, and she was an accidental landlord because she didn't want to be one. She had just inherited a property from her mom and decided to go ahead and give it a go being a landlord. Unfortunately, answered no to Section 8 and found herself in a serious lawsuit. Where should a landlord get the paperwork that they're going to use for the lease? Bad advice number 4.
I created the best lease for my renters, or I've been using the same lease for years with no problems, or I Googled it up and found a good one online.
Everything there is wrong. You always want to make sure as a landlord that you are using the most up-to-date version of a professional lease. California Association of Realtors has an amazing lease for landlords. Landlord groups like the CAA or AOA, they also have their own paperwork that landlords can use. It's up to date and includes all the necessary language and disclosures in there that a landlord must give to the renter. Additionally, there may be local disclosures that a landlord must give to a renter. The ones you find online or you make for yourself probably don't have the correct statewide language and disclosures in there, let alone the accurate and necessary local disclosures. How about screening renters? What should a landlord do? Bad advice number 5.
I don't need to screen my renters. I'm a good judge of character. I trust my gut, and I've never had a problem.
You need to pull credit and income information at the very minimum as a landlord. Your gut may be 100% accurate until it isn't, and you find yourself knee-deep in a lawsuit and a renter that you can't get rid of. As they say, trust but verify. There are professionals out there who know exactly how to game the system, particularly against a landlord who is not going to screen them. To screen renters, landlords should use objective criteria like credit scores, amount of income. You can get that from pay stubs, bank statements, tax returns if they're self-employed. You can ask for a positive rental history and give these criteria to renters ahead of time, and that will dovetail into new legislation this year related to the screening of renters. The other bonus in using these objective criteria and not your gut, it will be very hard for anybody to say that you've turned them down because of a fair housing reason. If you're using the same objective criteria for everyone, that is a good practice to avoid a fair housing violation. Can a landlord kick out a renter to sell a property? Bad advice number 6.
I gave a 30-day notice to the renter to move out because I'm going to be selling that property.
Selling the property is not a valid, no-fault reason to terminate a tenancy. In fact, the property may be located in an area where a landlord can't terminate the tenancy. It is important for a landlord to understand the proper notice time. So it could be a 30-day notice, 60-day notice if they've been there longer than a year, 90-day notice if it's a Section 8 renter, could be longer. An Ellis Act eviction, it could be up to a year. There may be local requirements related to the reasons for the termination of tenancy. Under no circumstances is selling the property a valid reason to terminate the tenancy, but owner move-in could be a possibility. Substantial remodel may be a possibility. Again, you'll need to review the local regulations related to termination of tenancy to see if that can be done. Additionally, there's going to be relocation assistance potentially that's offered to the renter. It could be 1 month's rent. In some places, it could be as high as $25,000 or more. It'll be up to the landlord to understand the exact regulations. We specialize in helping landlords sell their tenant-occupied properties, and we do it to minimize inconvenience to you as the landlord and the renters, so ultimately that you maximize your profit. What other outdated or bad advice have you heard that we missed? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to watch this next video where we show you the changes in 2025 rental laws so you don't get caught up in any bad advice. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates, and we can't wait to hear from you.